So a 5-minute talk is basically anything that you want to say. It's very fast, and it goes very fast. And I'm going to kick everybody off the stage once the 5-minute clock is down. So basically that's it. If we've locked the doors, I think we can start. Marco, can you do the timer? Yeah, okay. And you have literally 1 minute to prepare the HDMI cable afterwards. Without making noise. Okay. So timer. Delete. And 5 minutes. And it's... Kad ti kažem sad? 3, 2, go! You need a mic.
So yeah, by now I think everyone knows me. I'm Israel. I work at Kareem, and I'm from Venezuela, but I live in Dubai. I'm going to talk about building microservices because it's trendy, and I already committed to someone to give this talk. And some guiding principles we came up with experience and some other places I've worked at. So first, why microservices? There are a lot of reasons why you want to do microservices. There are a lot of reasons why you shouldn't do microservices, but I don't have time to go through it. So let's go for, because you only live once, right? And you have to try everything before the day comes. So 10 guiding principles that I think or I found useful to keep in mind while building microservices. First one comes from object-oriented programming, and I'm sure everyone is familiar with low coupling and high cohesion. And how the way this translates to microservices is that you don't want your microservices to be tightly coupled to each other. You want them to collaborate and achieve a goal or implement some feature. So you need to try to make them independent and isolated. That takes me to the second point. Services don't depend on each other. If you depend on another service to be up and running for another service to be okay or to function correctly, you're doing it wrong. One transaction hits one service. This means try to avoid distributed transactions all the way. This, it's hard to debug, you will lose time, and if you're a small team, it will add a complexity your team does not need. No service affects another. This means no shared resources, and so that databases, caches, everything the service needs to work should be self-contained into a single box. This also takes me to I didn't put it, but you need to also take into account what will happen if another service is down. So you need to take into account also graceful and gradual degradation. Bounded context by business realm. If you're familiar with Conway's law, it states that organizations try to produce software that maps the way they communicate. So you should try to map your services by business vertical or by business realm instead of all services related to, I don't know, okay, you should try to map them taking into account business realm. So all the accounting services should be taken care by one team, and they should be on a shared environment and so on. I always prefer choreography over orchestration. If you are doing orchestration, that will lead you to distributed transactions, and that's exactly what you don't want to do. Instead of that, you can do things asynchronously and rely on an event stream. Of course, there are cases where you need real-time communication with another service, but you can take those in a case-by-case basis. Events are first-class citizens. This means events have their own storage and their own life cycle, and they don't, and you have to persist them. this gives you the ability to replay all the events if you want to populate another data store for another service you're just launching. If it relies on an event, on an existing type of event, you can just replay that event and you have data for free. By the way, that's not the way I flew to Serbia. Rely on analytics and logs for debugging. That means no SSH access for anyone. You can have Logstash and Kibana. And rate limit and data privacy, authorization, all the things. This means you protect your environments and don't give access to everyone. Auto-deploy independently, and after automated tests, CI/CD all the way for all your services. More questions? 10 seconds. Just come talk to me. I came here alone, so no one to talk to. Follow me on Twitter, and I work at Kareem, and we're also hiring.
Good job, you made it. Okay, next in queue is the closing the queue. But you're not really closing the queue, right? Okay, who's the next? Anton, get ready. Okay. And also 5 minutes is a long time, so.
HDMI?
HDMI? Here. It's USB-C, yeah. Is it working? Working. Okay, so in. You will need the mic.
I don't know what you're telling me.
Arrangement on the top.
Yay. Thank you. Yay.
Ooh. Okay.
Shit. Hey, my minute's not up for setting up. Yay. Okay, so everything I'm going to say is going to be in the context of threading in Python, but it also applies to all other kinds of concurrency, at least logically. Please do not auto-advance through my slides. Right, so the queue class, it's not a data structure. If you haven't used it, it's a communication tool. So basically, what we're going to do, we have a producer on the right side, we have a consumer on the left side of the screen, and so we are going to get into these loops which are going to make some kind of a steady state. So one side is producing, the other side is consuming. Of course, there's no real steady state. So nicely, when the queue gets filled, one of the producer side is going to get blocked. When the queue gets empty, the consumer side is going to get blocked, but no work lasts forever, and eventually we are actually not going to have this loop like forever. We're just going to have it done until some condition. We are going to keep using this not done as a function, assume there's like an important condition there. So what happens when we are done with the work? Well, the consumer happily goes away and the producer keeps blocked forever in the get. This is what you get in the standard library. You do not want this, you want the consumer to stop, right? So basically the first solution everybody comes up with, well, why don't I put a none? And then here I'm going to get have a loop which says, sure, once I get a false item I'm going to break, then remember actually, yeah, this is not going to work because I might put an empty list or something on the queue, so I'm going to ask if it is actually none. So then I'm wondering, is this actually also going to work? Well, what if there's multiple consumers? Oh, by the way, this pattern, it can also be done, some of you are not seeing with these like fancy new features which are not implemented yet. And some of you are remembering this two-argument iterator. Has anybody ever used the two-item iter function? It's hugely unknown for some reason. It's been in Python since 2002. First deployed in 2001. Nobody knows about it. Anyway, we are going to keep it in this form, and Basically, if we don't like the none, if it's not going to work for us, sometimes we want to pass the none, we're going to come up with a new Sentinel object. This way, it's going to work fine. The 3 dots on the left are some kind of a way to get the Sentinel to the consumer. So now we are super happy. What if there are multiple consumers? One of them is going to get out of the loop, the others are not. Okay, sure. So if we find the Sentinel object, we are going to break, but before that we put it back on the queue for all the other consumers. So this is going to work, right? This is the perfect solution. Well, except that this only works for the first in, first out queues. You do not get this for the last in, first out, for the other standard library queues, for your own queues, for anything else that Python provides. So yeah, this is not going to work. Okay, so why don't we write a really simple solution that's going to work for all of these? Like, this is really obvious. It's really clear what the left side of this does. Like, just do all of this and Bob's your uncle, Bob Jans, the legendary Commodore engineer. And I'm not really sure this is correct. Like, I've never tried to use this. And I mean, that's just like, this is shite. Like, this is how we used to implement subroutines back when subroutines were a design pattern and design patterns were not a design pattern. So we need to find something else. I'm going to skip, because I'm afraid of the time, I'm going to skip the attempted solutions that people make with like synchronization primitives. Let's just skip about all of that, because it's not going to work naturally. I want to move to a quote from Tesla. Every application has an inherent amount of reducible complexity. The only question is, who will have to deal with it? The user, the application developer, or the platform developer? So which Tesla am I talking about? I'm talking about Larry Tesler. You should look that guy up. It's a really, really deep and useful thought. So why don't we pack all of that complexity, find a solution that's going to work for all types of queues, and just add a really, really small addition to the API. Now the producer can just close the queue when it's done, right? And the consumer is going to do what? It's just going to keep doing everything until the queue is closed. Is this right? Any opinions? This is not right, because, well, we might just be stuck in the get, especially if there are multiple consumers. So no, this is not going to work. Instead, we're just going to do the classic Python thing. Exceptions are cheap in Python. Like, this is how you should be doing things. So this looks a little bit verbose. We're going to work on that. But this is actually, this solves all the problems so far, though I've aimed the talk at showing problems that are going to be solved by this. Sure. Now, what if this explodes? Like, are we ever going to close the queue? Well, no, there's going to be an exception, and whoops, that's a problem. Beep. Well, okay. Come talk to me afterwards. I have a wonderful solution. It's going to be in the PyPI.
Good job. Very good. Thank you. Next one is Anton. Come on, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Woo!
Do you have audio on HDMI?
I have an audio HDMI, yeah. Just don't do it too loud.
Well, maybe I want to play some cool
Okay.
music.
Yeah, then you have 5 minutes to play a song. It's good. Do you need this, or are you just gonna play?
I will. I think we don't have it yet.
I can dance.
I can. We can make a duo.
Let's go.
Let's see if the music works. Extern. Can we test it anyhow?
Yeah, it should work out of the box.
All right.
I tried.
Then, yeah. Well,
Tried.
I don't have anything to test.
Okay.
All right. Let's just assume it works.
Okay.
So, hello again. Today I'm presenting you the PyCon relay race, one idea that I had this year in mind in Munich. So I'm Anton, and I'm one of the organizers of PyCon Web and PyCon Germany since a few years ago. It's something special about PyCon that makes us love it so much. It's a special feeling of community, and you see the same people on different conferences. It's cool to see these familiar faces, and it's equally cool to get to know new faces. So I wanted to establish this better connection between PyCons, and because I was speaking quite a lot this year, I thought I use this opportunity, and I let people from one PyCon to cheer people from another PyCon. For instance, like this. It all started in Munich. This is just a meetup. It's just one of the meetups where I had this idea for the first time.
3, 2, 1. Cheers, Odessa Pi! Greetings from PyMunich.
Can we probably make it less loud a bit?
Can you do it on your laptop?
No.
No?
Doesn't
Okay.
work. Yeah, anyway, so that was cheers to Odessa Pi from Pi Munich. That was the first step. Then, next month, I flew from Munich to Ukraine, Odessa. And over there I recorded this. Sorry for your ears.
Cheers! Woohoo!
Wish you a great conference!
Yes, bravo!
Yes, I cannot regulate the voice. So, this was Odessa. After the Odessa, of course, I asked them to record something else. And they recorded a greeting. PyCon Balkan? No. They recorded it for PyCon San Sebastian. You heard it? In Spain. In 1 month, I went from Munich to San Sebastian. It was a cool trip, by the way. I was crazy enough. I went there on my motorcycle in October. Stupid idea, but it was fun. And there, I recorded the greeting for you.
Then 3, 2, 1, go!
Cheers to PyCon Balkan! Have a lot of fun in the conference. Yes.
Bravo!
Now we have a little problem. I have no clue which conference I'll attend next because it's the end of the year. This is my last one this year, I guess. I was just guessing that I'll be for sure on PyCon Italia and on PyCon Slovakia. And since I met the organizers of this conference on PyCon Slovakia, I thought we should record one for PyCon Slovakia, shouldn't we? What do you think? Woo! Yes. So, all that I need from you is, what do you say? Cheers or have a cool conference or be creative?
Short ciao, PyCon Slovakia.
Slovakia is not ciao, it's Italian. It's ahoy, I guess. Anyone from Slovakia knows? Is it ahoy or? Ciao is good? All right, then let it be ciao. Okay, then ahoy to PyCon Slovakia, and somebody, the brave one, should say something like, wish you a cool event or something, because ahoy is too short. We need something longer. So, who is you are brave?
I'm brave, but I don't know what to say.
Just wish them a good time, but loud.
Nice event.
All right? Good. So, are we ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go!
Ahoy, PyCon Slovakia! Have a nice event. Cheers from the Balkans.
Go!
I'll probably be there, though.
Nice. That's it. That's the PyCon relay, and thank you for your attention.
You have 40 seconds. Should we dance?
40 seconds? No, but we can make a selfie.
Okay, let's do a selfie. 30 seconds. Okay. And make sure to get 30 seconds.
Yeah. Can you maybe raise your hands? It will be cooler. Please. I'm not good in duck faces. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Go for it.
Sorry for your ears. Anton.
Okay, Yono, you ready?
The title was actually debugging something. Very brave, yeah. So, who likes debugging?
Everybody likes debugging, just not in 5 minutes, but yeah.
I didn't ask you.
Okay.
Who likes debugging?
Are we starting?
On Friday evening? No, not really. Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so do you see something here? It's so small. I hate this.
Make it larger, we're gonna go again.
Okay, I can try to make it larger. Okay, so let's imagine that you have like this regular Docker. You use Docker, right? Or like a regular Django Celery
Use the mic,
application.
use the mic, use the mic.
Right, so what?
If you wanted the coding.
Yeah, then you can turn this off. Yeah, okay, thank you. This is better. All right, thank you. All right, so let's suppose we have this application here. So we have like some views, right? And we have we have this view, right, that does stuff, right? It's a simple view, just starts a celery task, right? This looks like pretty clear what's going on here, right? It should work, you agree, right? But if I try this, so I'm gonna try first the root one, So, let me start it. Okay, so it runs now. Okay, so it's a USG app, nothing special. I mean, you know this stuff. All right, so it works, right? But if I try to open the stuff, then, well, it gets stuck. So, I mean, what's going on? Right, so how would you guys debug this, right? What would you do? So there's like option 1, right? You can, I don't know, like go into the container. Let me change this again. What was it, 22? Yeah. Okay, so let's just open a terminal in the container, run htop here, right? It's like pretty regular tool, you know htop. And then, I mean, we have 2 processes. So, I mean, in development, I mean, you shouldn't have if you use USG with sub-processes, like with workers, try not to have so many, have like 1 or 2 or 3, so you can, take them and see what's going on. We strace this, you press S, and then htop will open an strace, and then you can see what's going on here, and we can see that, okay, press F4 for, not F4, F8 for auto scroll. So, seems it does something. It's not really readable. I mean, it looks like it's connecting to Redis, right? So, okay, you can kind of figure it out that, well, Redis ain't up. So, I mean, then you can go and look around why it's not up. You shouldn't. You go, you exit this, and then you go, you run docker ps, and then you see, really, it's not up. It's not there, no Redis. So, why there's no Redis? So, I mean, then you go into, and you kind of figure it out that, well, you have some broken service dependency here. So you go into the Docker Compose configuration, and then you see, look, there's no Redis. Well, that's a problem. Redis. But, I mean, still, that doesn't explain. I mean, okay, you solve the problem, but you don't know what's going on. I mean, you just. So, I mean, if you want to find what's going on, I mean, you kind of got to trace the code and see what's going on. So, one way to do it is to use like a tracer tool. You can try this one. You can Google Python Hunter. This one, not this one. This one, and there's there are 2 ways of doing it. I'm going to show you one way. I mean, you can add an environment variable. It's the easiest. You have to edit the configuration. You just type in Python Hunter. Why do you keep switching the microphone?
My hand hurts.
Oh my God. Thank you. And then you have like these simple filters for the tracer. You can type in module, and you want anything that starts with, it's documented. It's documented. You can type starts with but there's a shortcut, right? And you can say celery, because something is going on in celery, right? And then, let me quote this. You can never be too careful with YAML, It's like it does weird stuff. If you don't have codes, weird stuff will be going on. So, for example, if you have this and you type, let's say, no, this will be convert it into a Boolean, by the way, so bad stuff will happen. Use quotes if you have strings. Okay, so we have this. Oh my God. Too late.
Okay. Additional 30 seconds.
All
Go.
right, then we restart the container. Yeah. Trans. Right, and then we tried the request, you know, and then, what was it? Don't laugh. It's very funny. And then, try the request. What? I have a typo here. I think I have a typo. What? Did I save? Python Hunter.
Additional minute because of bravery.
Bravery of live coding, yes. It always, I mean, it always goes bad. I don't know why. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like,
Me neither.
when I do it alone, I mean, it's perfect. I don't know. I mean, it's like, what? They gave up on me.
Can you do the punchline at least at the
The punchline.
The punchline.
Okay, so there's this tracer tool, and in theory it works. In practice, it's like the third try or the second.
Okay. So
There's this tool. You can try it, and it's
amazing.
Okay, there's a screenshot. Okay, it will look like this basically. Yeah, so.
thank you very much, Jonel, for the bravery. It takes balls to do that. Okay, before you guys leave, a few notes that I wrote down. So, first of all, don't drink tonight, because tomorrow we start at 9 a.m. in the morning. We're gonna have a very interesting talk from, oh my God, my brain, the core developer of Django. What is his name? I can see him there. Russell Kate McGee. Oh, sorry. So make sure that you don't drink too much. So a few beers and that's it. As for the social event, you should go and check it out with the Kiwi booth. We're giving away 80 tickets to a social event on Saturday where you can also drink, but don't drink too much. Ask at the Kiwi booth how to get into the social event. I want to say thank you for people who are watching us on the stream, because we actually had a constant amount of like 50 plus viewers. So thank you, people who are watching us. And basically that's it. So thank you very much. Call it a wrap for the day. And I think I covered everything. So see you tomorrow and have a nice evening.